Hello. So today I want to tell you about the game Crabs in a Bucket from Blue Rondo Games. And this was a game that I recently got to play at Dice Tower West and had a great time with. So if you have played this game, just know there's also expansions for it and fancy upgraded bits. So you can definitely get more, or if this intrigues you, you can start here. I got myself a fun limited edition enamel pin of the pea crab because it was so cute and it was green. But this is a really fun game, and this is one of those games that uses kind of a traditional deck of cards as its base and goes from there. So it's very easy to introduce to people who have familiarity with card games. Now, Crabs in a Bucket, I don't know if any of you have gone crabbing. We go up to Washington and go crabbing quite frequently. If you put crabs in a bucket and one's trying to escape, the others pull it down so that it can't escape. That's the theme of this game. You are trying to be more crafty so that you are the one that has 0 cards first and stop other people from getting there. So you have this basic play mat that comes with it. Again, you can get deluxe stuff. Your deck goes here, your discard pile's here, and your joker pile is here. Makes it very clear. So the basic deck is just like a deck of cards. It has 4 suits from ace to king. Now, a few of these cards will be 2 colors, meaning they play as 2 suits. And the jacks, queens, and kings all have special things on them. But like I said, it starts out with the basis of a regular card game and really evolves from there. So everybody's going to get 7 cards to start the game. And you can look at them, you can reorder them, that's all fine. I know with a lot of games now we have to ask that because that is not always the case. And then the deck goes here. And I pulled all the jokers out so I can show them to you, but all of the joker crabs would be in this deck. So we are simply going to flip over a card until we get a suited card. And then the person to the left of the dealer is going to go first. Now on your first turn, you can't play a joker. It even says so right here. And everybody gets a little handy dandy flowchart that tells them exactly what they can do. So on your turn, you will either play a card. If it's your first turn, you have to play here. If it's a subsequent turn, you may be forced to play here, or you can play a joker. If you can't play, you draw a card. If you want to play that card, you can't, assuming you can. If you can and want to play it, you can play it. If you can play but don't want to play it anytime, that's fine. And you don't have to. You'll just draw your card and end your turn. And then on the back, it tells you kind of some of the different little quirks about the game. So what happens on this turn is that I need to match the suit or the color. So in this case, I could simply match it with a 2 and play would go on. But there's some interesting things that you can do. So let's instead say that the 2 was the first card there. And then I'm going to take some cards from my hand and I can do what is called an ascending run. These don't have to be in order. They simply have to go higher. So I could say 6, 9, queen. And those cards are all out of my hand because again, the point is to get cards out of your hand so that you can win. Now, queens, the face cards aren't great in this. Well, they're great for the person who played them. They're not great for anyone else. So what this means is it tells you that no jokers can be played until this card is covered up. So again, if this were not the first turn and it's the subsequent turn, excuse me, you can no longer play a joker. And you may play a card here that matches suit or color, and you have to take the penalty because I played it. I'm the beneficiary of the penalty. So a jack means you take your turn and you draw 1 card from the deck. If you can't beat it, you would take your normal card plus 1 more. A queen means if you can beat this, great, but you must take a card from my hand. And a king means if you can or can't beat it, you still have to take 2 penalty cards from the deck. So those can be really fun or really terrible, which is kind of, how this game works. Also, if we go all the way around the table, it's 2 to 6 players, so with more players, that's harder to do. But if we go all the way around the table and it comes back to me, it's a Cravolution. So nobody else beat it or chose not to beat it. So I now can play on top of that however I want to because it went all the way around. So I could choose not to. I think I'm going to draw a card because none of you guys could beat it before. Let's see what happens now. And it's queen. You're still taking cards from my hand. This is great. So I may do that, or I may choose to beat it. And I could be like, well, let's beat it with another queen. See what you guys can do with that there. So those are just your regular cards. And then, like I said, there are some, not a whole lot of them in the deck, but there are some that are, if I can find one, 2 colors. So like this 10, when it gets played, it counts as either orange or green. So that's the basics of the regular cards. But then what happens with the jokers? That's where things get really fun and interesting. So these all have a special power on them. So instead of playing here, assuming it's not the first turn and there's not a card that forces me to play here, Jack, Queen, or King, I can play a joker from my hand and they all have an effect. So let's look at the arrow crab. Silent shot. Force an opponent to draw a card out of your hand and the deck. If your opponent still has less cards than you, trigger this effect again. So this is a great way if someone's getting close to emptying their hand. Now they're not. So that's a great option. Imitation crab. Imitate. Trigger the play effect of the top card on the joker pile. If there's no card on the joker pile to trigger, discard up to 3 cards. So if I played this, it would reactivate Silent Shot, or if nothing was there, then I would just, get to do the 3 card thing. So all of these have a great ability, and we are trying to empty our hand first. However, there is one joker that is not so great, and that is a lobster. And a lobster, as you may know, is not a crab. So the lobster says, don't play this card. If you play this card, you lose the game, even if this is your final card. Try to find a way to get rid of this card without actively playing it, or give it to other players. If discarded, shuffle this card back into the deck. So this card, when you draw it, it's like an moment. So there's a couple ways you can get rid of it. Like when people are drawing from your hand, they may end up with the lobster out of your hand. So that's great. If you ever have more than 10 cards, you have to discard down to 10. That would be discarding this and not playing it, so you would be fine. So whoever gets rid of all of their cards wins. They were the crab that successfully made it out of the bucket. This game is just a great time. You have to enjoy Take That, which I think in a quick game, it's super fun, and you're doing Take That on everyone. It's not like you're just targeting one player or refusing to trade with one player. This affects everyone. It's how the game is. It's such a good time. So I cannot wait to try the expansions for this, get some of the fancy bits, all of that. So go check out Crabs in a Bucket from Blue Rondo Games. Give me a like and a follow, and I'll keep bringing you more board game content. Thanks. Bye.